It's Saturday morning. Are you on the internet? Get off. If you're on the internet and you're only watching this, good. Stay off the internet. Definitely, you are rocking with Marvelous Talk, man. And I'm going to tell you, you here with your usual suspects, myself, and Big G and Max. What's popping, Big Max? How y'all doing today?
Doing good, everybody. How's everyone else doing?
Good. I am staying off the internet. It is officially on the clock, Doctor Strange time. We had we're gonna have red carpet on Monday, but we had the pre-screeners go out, and there are a lot of people who are opening their mouth and kind of giving away information. And there's definitely a couple of scenes that have been given away at this point, and I'm staying off the internet. But before we get into everything, man, definitely, if you like what you are getting, the content that you're getting, make sure you like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on Twitch and YouTube, so that when we do go live, you will definitely be there. And Big G, I ain't got to even say you're not staying off the internet, because you like knowing stuff before it actually happened. So I won't even ask the question that you on the internet.
Man, it was an accident, man. I was actually, to be honest, I was actually watching the Max and Juan podcast for the NFL preview, and some stuff slipped, man. And I was like, man, this ain't good. That I know all this stuff already, man. This ain't good.
And you know what? Since you know that, let's make sure that we know this. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys, in the production pre-meeting text, I laughed out loud when I read it, because the start was, let's discuss the one thing that Mod hates. Why would we do that? I mean, like, why are we saying that Mod hates something? Like, my name was Mikey. Give it to Mikey. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna hate it. I'm not gonna hate anything that we would have to talk about, unless we're talking about Captain Marvel. If we're talking about Captain Marvel, I will definitely hate that. You know, I would hate having to have that conversation again. That's
Max,
something I would.
Why does he hate Captain Marvel so much?
I don't
understand.
I think he's been watching too much Star Wars, and like Palpatine says, his hate makes him stronger, gives him focus. I don't know. I really don't know why he hates a lot.
Yeah, I think what it is, he doesn't like Brie Larson. I think he's just got an issue with Brie Larson, and because he's got an issue with Brie Larson, that just destroys.
I don't
any
like her either.
He has a Captain
but
Marvel.
I like the movie. I don't really like her that much either, but I like the movie. It's pretty good.
Okay. Mod, you got to defend yourself.
Yeah,
I don't have to defend myself. I'm just saying, we could talk about anything except Captain Marvel, and I would be happy. I mean, I would be happy. Doesn't make sense to me. But all right, okay. So the first subject we're gonna get onto. Let's talk about preparing for what we're about to get next week. We have the groundwork to set, right? What are the movies that has led us here? And let's talk about where we got left, because here's the big deal. What we know is that the beginning of COVID, in 20, we went, what was it, a whole year without Marvel content?
18 months and 6 days with nothing.
We went a while without Marvel content, and then we started getting the Disney series. And when we started getting the Disney series, those Disney series helped us until we got to Shang-Chi, correct?
Yeah, as far as big screen. Yeah, absolutely.
I think, yeah. So we are back at a place where we are going to have a big screen Marvel movie. Yes, and it is a big screen Marvel production. But until we get our mind wrapped around where we are, I think we definitely need to go back and set the precedent. So Max, kind of let's walk through this. Let's get to where we are caught up. So when we watch the movie, we know what to expect. So let's start us out.
Okay, I just have a quick question before we. So that 18-month break, do you think it was a good thing or bad thing for Marvel?
I think it was a great thing, because what it did is it gave them more time to build content. It gave them more time to kill scripts that might not have been good or might not have been the bar that they wanted to set. And it also gave them an opportunity to reset the timeline as far as the release of the movies. So because we thought the movies and TV shows was going to go a completely different way, and it ended up going the way that now we're like, okay, man, this is great. And it set it in a sequence to make us hungry for more and more content on the big screen as well as on the TV show.
What about you, Mod? What do you think?
I just think it was a thing, Max. I think you know how things happen, and you'd be like, oh, that happened, and you just kind of move forward. I think it was a thing, and it ended up working for the good. And in the end, it was a thing that happened. It ended up working for the good. What's Black Widow was a thing that happened. It just ended up working for the bad because it was a movie out of context and out of time. But I think when COVID happened, it gave Marvel, just like Big G said, it gave Marvel the opportunity to kind of scoop stuff back and move things around. But Black Widow definitely suffered for that. So it was a thing, and they made the best out of it. Life gave them lemons, they made lemonade.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. It was a good thing. I think, one, it stopped the fatigue of Marvel from happening. We already saw it with Star Wars, how they were cranking out a Star Wars movie every, year, 6 months, and everyone got tired of them quickly. So I think it was a good thing. And when they reset, they brought in probably one of the best Marvel projects in WandaVision, which just reset everything. It just, again, kind of like Moon Knight, it made you question reality in itself. It's like, what is Wanda doing? What is this? Any of this real? Is this all in her head? And looking back, you can always be like, oh well, we know. But when it's on that week to week, and then you're like in that week, and it's like a whole week of speculation. It's like the whole week, like what was the first week? Mephisto, right? Or second week was all Mephisto, and then that third week was her brother's in it from the X-Men, Evan Peters. I think that's his name. So Marvel just capitalized on the ability to just build up anticipation, even in a week-to-week basis on the WandaVision show.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. That was something that had never happened before. You know what I mean? It had happened from a movie's perspective, but never from a week-to-week. Like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? And that building anticipation, and I think it brought in new people. It brought in new people because it was like, where are you at? But like I said, it's the balance act now. It's the balancing act that's about to happen now, because you're not going to get the Captain Americas. You're not going to have the Iron Mans. You're going to have new themed heroes for this anti-hero mission that we're going on right now. So, Big G called it a long time ago. You got to give credit to because Big G, sometimes a blind squirrel will find a nut. You know what I'm saying? And that's Big G. Sometimes a blind squirrel will find a nut. But when G hit it, though, when he's on it, I just need to tell y'all something. When Big G own it, he own it. You have to own it. I'm going to tell you, I got to be right and be real. And he was on this anti-hero thing before anybody. He wasn't listening to any other podcasts. He wasn't, getting any other information. The boy had sat down and went down to where the air was crisp in the rabbit hole, and he said, hey, this thing right here is about the anti-hero. This is where we're headed. And I said, well, gee, it looks right. It looks right. We were discussing Namor. We were discussing Black Panther 2. Yeah. And he just said, hey, man, I see it. This is what they're going to do. Bam, right off of that, we got the fake Captain Make-A-Wish Captain America.
Yeah.
And then we got, definitely we started getting more and more anti-heroes. So
I called
the
Illuminati. I called the Illuminati a year ago. Before anybody even knew, I called the Illuminati. I said the Illuminati is coming a year ago. Mob might have been part of the conversation, but I said
who said it first?
I said the Illuminati is coming.
No, who said the Illuminati first? Now you be honest. I can run the tape.
Okay.
Yeah, I said the Illuminati.
I'm just saying that this whole anti-hero Illuminati, where are we going? I even thought before they announced when Kevin Feige did the whole announcement about Kang, I was like, okay, who could be the big bad for this phase? And I was like, nobody else. Because see, I love Victor Von Doom. And I was like, he just doesn't fit. You can't bring him in and not have the Fantastic Four. I love Galactus. He don't fit. So I'm like, who's the bridge for the big bad from Thanos? And I looked around and I started reading comic books and I was like, who could carry it? There was only one dude, Kang. And sure enough, that sucker showed up. So I was like, man, yeah, they're anti-heroing it for real. Because really, to be honest, Kang's not really good or bad. If you know Kang from the comic books, he's not good or bad. Kang's just trying to preserve and protect his stuff, which what he thinks is right. And then, that led to the whole different variants. And yeah, we're there, y'all. We're there.
Well, that's like the perfect way to tie in Loki to this. And I feel like with the MCU shows, they've had WandaVision, Loki, and those really set the stage for the multiverse and just variants. While the other shows were Hawkeye, Winter Soldier, and Falcon and Winter Soldier, those kind of focus more on like Earth problems, right? It was kind of like, hey, there's two normal dudes kind of trying to fix some stuff in the past. It's not kind of just setting up, which could be the most game-changing Marvel movie we've had yet. So that's what I think has been interesting about the shows, how like a couple of them have kind of pushed the whole MCU forward, and a couple have just been just like little stories in and out, not much.
Yeah, it's sort of. I like the fact that like Captain America or Falcon and the Winter Soldier sort of closed the chapter on that of what we think for Captain America, but then like opened up a door for where this whole thing, and they're starting to tell the truth about the super soldier formula, which eventually is going to lead all roads as far as super soldier lead to what everybody wants on the big screen everywhere. And that's Logan or AKA James Howlett or AKA Wolverine, whatever you want to call him, or Patch or whatever rendition you're going to see of this guy. All roads as far as super soldier lead to him. So it's laying Easter eggs, like you said, Max, for stuff that, that we know is coming. But, like you said, the focus of the show is to look back on, okay, where are we going as far as these movies? And what have we seen? And where did they leave us like with cliffhangers? To say, okay, moving forward, how's this going to tie to that? I think that's where we're at.
So that being said, Max, where did we leave off? Where did we leave off with WandaVision? Like, let's start setting the menu for what we're going to see next week. Where did we leave off in WandaVision? Basically,
at the end of WandaVision, Wanda confronts the villain Agatha, who's a witch, and we figure out that, hey, Wanda had powers before. It wasn't just when she touched the stone and the scepter or whatever they were using at the time. It was just the fact that, hey, she's really powerful, and by the time she leaves, she's kind of a villain. No one really likes her. You could see in the Doctor Strange preview, it's like, how come when you do it, you're a hero, but when I do it, I'm a villain? So she's off. She's hiding by where Sean says Wintergore Mountain, getting better at her craft. And she's just getting more powerful. And I think she's going to finally hit that potential where she can change stuff on her own.
Well, she actually became one of our first anti-heroes.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
She started off on the other team. Right? She started off messing with the Hulk's mind, messing with Thor's mind. It was because of her that Thor saw Ragnarok. Definitely, when it comes down to it, she started mind melting people and moving people, and she was on the other side. But then, of course, classic anti-hero, there's a part of them that is kind of like, I want to do right too. you know, and I want to do what's right. And then there she was. She switched and came over to a different team. So she has some of those conflicted values. That's what I'll say they are. They're conflicted values and they're twisted when we're talking about an anti-hero, because at the core, they want to do good, you know, but in them doing what they think is right, they're doing wrong, right? You know, so it's the hero like Captain America will always do what's right.
And
you know what I mean?
I think we underestimate the impact of losing Vision had on her. You know, she watched him get murdered in front of her eyes.
Right.
And that was like her whole life. So maybe with everyone thinking we're going to get White Vision, white purity, maybe he can like White Vision can bring her back all the way to good. That's just something to think about.
Maybe. And so we left and I think she was in worse shape than she was when we found her at in the very beginning of WandaVision. And why do I feel like that? I think she was in worse shape because she got more trauma. She had Vision ripped away again. Then she had her kids ripped away again, right? And also, oh, by the way, now she's just more powerful with more trauma. You know what I mean? So being that this is where we were left off, Wanda has some unresolved issues. And we now know that Doctor Strange was the one calling out to her like, Wanda, what you doing? Like, what's going on? Like, so we know that Doctor Strange is in this thing and invested in her mental mindset, right? So after that, we got Loki, right? And Loki introduced us to the idea of the multiverse. Now, where did Loki kind of leave us, in your opinion, Max? Talk to us about that. And Big G.
It left us with just more questions and answers. You know, at the whole show is about this variant of Loki, just trying to find out if he's good, if he's bad. They tell him like, hey, you died with your brother. And he kind of sets on a path to figure out who's behind the TVA. And he meets the girl version of him, Sylvie. They have a moment on the planet. They have a Nexus event on that planet where they're just sitting by the asteroids. No one knows what happened. And then at the end, they meet this dude. And he's like, I invented the TVA. I know what's going to happen up until this point. And you have a choice to keep me, or you're going to see all my variants, and they're a lot worse than me. And Sylvie made a huge mistake, in my opinion, killing him. And now Loki kind of like, we leave Loki, and he's just like, what the heck do I do? Where's Sylvie? Who's this guy who replaced all statues of TVA? And Loki kind of just set the stage again for, hey, there's different versions of characters. That kind of led directly into Spider-Man No Way Home, where we see 3 Peter Parkers. Well, we saw 2 Lokis.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. We saw even more because we had the old Loki, the alligator Loki, who's the boy Loki. Alligator Loki's my fave. Let's go.
That President Loki.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I think that one of the so tie in the parts that I see together, right? That we're talking about anti-hero, and we're talking about variants, but I think like the golden thread, if you want to say the stuff's all tying together, is the issue of they have to, in order to have an assembly of characters, you got to create something that's so big that all of these guys got to come together, right? They've already did it once, and that was the 10-year run for Avengers, right? 10 years, they built, introduced characters that people were familiar with, like Captain America, like Iron Man, a little bit like Thor. But then they brought in people like that folks really didn't know unless you was like comic head, like Black Widow and Hawkeye. And, you know, of course, everybody knows the Incredible Hulk, but they built this team, right? And then somewhere when they were building the team, they flipped the team. So you went from Hulk, Thor, and all those guys to now you got Falcon and War Machine. And who's this Vision guy? If you're not in the comic book, who's this guy? And then you got Wanda Maximoff, who up to that point wasn't even called the Scarlet Witch. She was just Wanda Maximoff, right? So you built the team, you flipped the team, and then the touchdown or the goal line was, we're gonna wipe out Thanos. We got to fix everything Thanos did. right? And it cost them big stuff. It cost them Chris Evans. It cost them Tony Stark, you know. And now here you are again, and they got to build it up again, right?
Scarlett Johansson, don't forget.
Yeah.
We lost her too. So they got to build it up again. So building it up again. Okay, now we gotta. Are these people really good or bad? Because even more so, why did they survive and everybody else lose?
And here's another thing that you got to think about too, Big G. We got variants for the first time in Endgame.
Yeah,
because we were dealing with two Gamoras, and we were dealing with two
Nebulas. Yeah.
Nebulas.
Yeah. Right. But see, we thought that it was different timelines, right? At that point, because they were talking about quantum realm and quantum mania, and you could go back in time and take a stone from here or there and bring. No, what was actually going on is they was going in pocket realities. That's why, Ahmad, if you remember, and Max, I don't know if you were part of this conversation, but I know we had a big talk about why did Tony Stark question why he was not born at that time? Because his dad was like, well, you know, she's out to here, you know, and he was like, dude, wait a minute, I've been born. And, you know, we were like, oh, did he go back in time? But now what we're finding out as the pendulum is moving is they were in a different dimension. They were a different reality. They was in a different
they were
place.
He was dealing with a variant reality of from where they were at. It wasn't the timelines. It was, you know, and I think, like I said, it's making sense as we go, right? Mm-hmm. It's making sense as we go. And Max, you brought this out when talking about Loki, you know, and then He Who Remains with Kang being the biggest bad of them all, right? You know, and having the Council of Kang, and he was saying, hey, you know, there's somebody worse than me. You think I'm bad? You don't want to see that other dude, right? Yeah. And then Loki being in the place again after it all happened and seeing the reboot of it all is like, oh wow, you know, this right here is tragic, and this is gonna go a whole nother different way. So does Shang-Chi point to this movie?
I think Shang-Chi and Eternals were setting up their own stuff, setting up their own kind of pocket universes in the MCU. Yeah. So no, I think Shang-Chi won't be a big factor in this movie, or he's coming down the road. It's kind of just setting up a new character. So no, I wouldn't say he had much impact on Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Well, let's
seeing Wong being Mike Tyson. Yeah.
Wong was there.
Well, that's when we found out that Wong was Sorcerer Supreme. That's sort of when we found out that, okay, really, because Strange wasn't a man, Wong is like pulling cats together. Because we see him with another person that could be considered an anti-hero, the Abomination. Why are you working with this guy? And at the end, you see him and he's talking like how they talked in Endgame, you know, to Brie Larson and Mark Ruffalo, you know, the Incredible Hulk. So you're like, wait a minute, who is he assembling cats? What is he really doing? Because Wong has got a motive because he knows something. And then we get that whole beacon, which we don't know what the heck that is. You know, I still haven't, I got my theories, but man, I still haven't figured out for sure what that beacon was. You know.
So where does that leave us after Loki, after Shang-Chi? We know that kind of, you know, Black Widow kind of doesn't count. It's out of time.
Well, maybe Eternals, you know, I think Eternals is one aspect of it. Not any of the Eternals themselves, but just the aspect of these bigger than life deities and these what do they call them?
Who?
Oh, what they call them? I'm blanking.
Well, I mean, they're like gods. I mean,
yeah. What was the word they used? They're gonna make a new. What'd you say?
You lost. You talking about the Eternals, the Celestials?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Celestials. Thank you. That kind of established Celestials, and we've seen a picture of the Living Tribunal. So it's kind of preparing you for these like dudes who are bigger than planets and make planets.
Yeah. Well, The Celestials, man, is like. So okay, so I got a question. If the Celestials got to be born out of a planet dying, right? And that's what our universe is made out of. And at the same time, we know that there's a multiverse, right? How important are the Celestials? Or is that stuff shooting us towards the idea that there's Gore the God Butcher that's got to start wiping? Because we know from the comics, Gore's first victim was Nowhere, the Celestial, right? And he chopped his head off. So we know already based on the Guardian series, that's all got to tie together. So was Eternals more setting us towards Thor, or was it more like just trying to fill in the blanks to give us the story of how the Earth is changing? Or was that Kevin Feige's way of saying, okay, this is how I'm going to tie back mutants? You know, so Eternals, it was a good movie, and I was really hyped about it, but it was sort of all over the place to me.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think it was just to fill in the blanks. So it could build in another world-changing entity, which it kind of did in a sense. And now we're prepared for it. Now we've seen it. So now if they show us Living Tribunal, we're like, yeah, we've seen it. Even though like the casual person who likes these movies, who doesn't watch every video, but they should, especially this one. But that's what they do. They just build it up. Shameless plug right.
Yeah, and you gotta it's kind of like one of those things where it's like Max, you hit it. If I show you something enough, you'll become immune to it, right? And I think and here's how I feel, and I said it. I think with them allowing you to see the Celestials standing over the planet, now you introduce stuff like Galactus, and that's not a foreign idea to you. That ain't foreign for you to see something standing over the freaking planet, because Galactus is that big, right? You know, so I think that's kind of setting up space stuff. And you're right. That's why I said you hit it. That's setting up space stuff, but it's still like its own entity. So the things that set up this movie were WandaVision so far. WandaVision. We said Spider-Man No Way Home, right?
Loki.
And Loki, right? Well, Loki, and now we're going to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. Where did that leave us? Like we're on the doorstep of this movie. Where did that leave? I mean, because of course you got the trailer in that movie, but where did that leave us as far as preparation for this story?
Well,
I think it. Go ahead, no, you go ahead, Big G.
Well, I think what happened is that two things that happened in Loki and in Spider-Man. See, we thought that the Stones was all powerful. You know, at least I did. You know, as far as like I was like, okay, Marvel's going to make these because they're called gems in the comic book, but they're going to make these stones all powerful, and the stones is going to be able to do all kind of whatever else. Well, what we saw in WandaVision and what we saw in Loki and what we saw in Spider-Man No Way Home is the gems the stones don't really mean nothing. Because there's multiple universes, right? And so now we see at the same time you're building Wanda up as like this powerful thing, man, they built Stephen Strange up to do stuff that we didn't know he could do. This Joker cast a spell, and which Spider-Man messed with it 4 times, and it changed it to where all reality, everybody that ever knew who Peter Parker was, started coming into our reality. Man, that's saying a whole lot for a guy that doesn't have the Eye of Agamotto or the Time Stone. How is he able to cast that spell?
Big G, let me ask you a question. Do you think it was just Stephen Strange casting the spell, or was it a combination of Stephen Strange and Wanda?
I don't know.
Wanda doing what she was doing with the Darkhold and Stephen Strange at the same time. It made the fabric of our reality weak because, get this, remember this long speech that whatchamacallit gave us. What's her name? Bald head lady.
The ancient one.
Yes.
No.
Yes, you're right, Max. It's the ancient one. Correct.
Yeah, the ancient one. Okay,
Yeah,
I thought you
he
said
said
the
bald
ancient-
headed lady. Come on,
Yeah.
it's not that many of those.
Oh,
That's why I
lady,
laughed because I was like, "What he say?"
Oh wait,
Boy,
Jada
lady.
Pinkett Smith. Oh, sorry.
No,
Oh
no.
gosh.
Wow.
That's,
Okay.
that's
Gosh.
So,
Max. That's
yeah,
the first thing
so
that
the
ran through my
ancient one-
brain. I was like, "No, not."
The ancient one said and gave us this long speech about if the stones were removed from reality, what would happen, right?
Right,
They
Mhm.
were all gone. You know what I'm saying?
right.
They're all gone. And then in Loki, we found out that in the multiverse, they don't even matter, right?
Exactly.
So we have this whole thing, and she was bad herself. I think she was probably working for Kane, to be honest.
Well, she was. So what we're getting a thread for too is this. You're seeing that these guys are all self-preserving or trying to self-preserve this timeline, right? And we're finding out this timeline is actually whack, because there's stuff from everywhere, and so like who we know that Kang is the guy that wants to preserve the timeline. We know that, right? But we're trying to find out. And Mod, I think you said this in one of the shows before. Who's really working for this guy? Because these folks is trying to preserve this little timeline, and we found out really everything that the ancient one said was a lie. We found out that them stones really didn't mean that much. We found out that Stephen Strange, got this power that this Jew can mess with reality just like Wanda can mess with reality. So, and I've got to point this out too, and I don't know if you guys picked up on this. The colors mean something. So, yellow magic, red magic, green magic, purple magic, red magic, and the colors almost sort of line up with the stones. So is the stones really magic? Or, what are they? Because the magic is lining up, because now you got all these different forms of magic that are tied to colors. And like even the blue, even Mjolnir, the Thor thunder is blue. So is that a form of magic? Which really is that really like a color thing? Does it tie to the stones? I've really tried to watch that, and every time I see those colors line up, it identifies with certain stuff. I don't know if you guys seen that or not.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. That's a great point. It's just I haven't really picked up on much of it. I mean, I've noticed that, but if there's a deeper meaning, I'm still looking for it.
Well, yeah, and I agree, but Thor even talked about magic. You know what I'm saying? In my realm, y'all call it science, but I mean, in my realm, it's magic, but in your realm, y'all call it science.
Right.
So these were references that were set really. That's why I told y'all, Kevin Feige wastes nothing, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, one little statement in a movie from years back will pay off in these movies moving forward, right? Mm-hmm. So, dude, we're here, man. We're here. And I'm telling everybody, do your homework. Make sure you go back, you watch WandaVision, make sure you familiarize yourself with Loki. The last piece of this puzzle is what if.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. You're 100% right.
Yeah. So the last piece of this puzzle is what if, because you have Zombie Strange. We've now saw that we got Captain Carter, right? There are other people that we're going to see, Wanda, the zombie Wanda, you know what I'm saying? Which was in the cartoon was kind of scary. I had to, grab my blanket and hide my eyes for a second. Like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have all of these different characters that are going to be brought in. And I know you're going to be kind of lost if you have not did this type of homework. Go ahead, Max. You were about to say something.
No, I was saying, what if, the Doctor Strange episodes were going to play a big role in the movie, but I think the series just allowed people to realize, hey, there's more stories. There's totally, I think just the idea of what if is bigger than that one episode. You know what I mean? It's just, it let everyone open their mind to all the realms of possibility. And that is more important than just that one storyline of Doctor Strange. So now, what if we see Killmonger in this movie, Doctor Strange? It's like, okay, we've already seen it. No big deal. What if we see Tom Cruise as Iron Man? Hey, That makes sense. We've seen it
Yeah.
in What If. They recast people. So that's
Right.
what's more important about What If. And it just built up a different aspect for Marvel to tap into.
Right.
And Big G, to your point, it
Yeah.
also opens up and to Max's point when he said recast, to bring people back. It opens up the opportunity to bring people back who were once gone, right?
Right.
Terrence Howard, baby.
I don't
Real
know.
My War Machine.
I think
Hey,
Terrence,
but-
Terrence, that ship done sailed.
Yeah.
Is it really? This is something else I want to point out too. Kevin Feige, and this is, I think, the most the part of his brain that I don't think that most people don't realize what's going on. And I picked up on this, and I've been watching it, right? So when you have movies like how we talk about like the Star Wars series and the Harry Potter series and all the different other series that we've seen as far as movies, what eventually ends up happening, and it's not because of lack of content or lack of storytelling. What they do is they paint themselves in a corner, right? They make this story happen and they paint it in a corner, and then like getting out of the corner is the climax. And then it's like, okay, we got out of the corner. There's nothing else to fight. There's nothing else to win, right? And so now I think what Kevin Feige has done a good job at is sort of staying in the middle and giving himself the ability to, be on the outside with everything. And like he can pull from any direction. And I think that's the art of storytelling, is you put yourself in the middle and you can pull from any direction, because he doesn't really know. That's why they're going in the rabbit hole for and they're going to go play in 10 years, because he doesn't really know. He knows what he wants to do, but he doesn't really know. And if somebody makes a bigger pitch or stronger pitch about which way we should go, he's going to ride with it. So I like that about the MCU and about the TV shows and all whatever else. They're not painting themselves in a corner, and they're giving themselves outs everywhere. That's just me.
100% agree with you. There's literally they basically created an eraser for themselves, so they can erase anything they want and no one will question it.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. So you guys, we're ready. We're ready. We have the average watcher ready to go see the movie. We have the average watcher already on task. So they've got their tickets in their hand. They're ready to go. We have a prediction show that we're going to do on Wednesday. Is this correct? We're doing a prediction.
Yep.
Yeah, it's quick recap of Moon Knight. Then we're gonna hit prediction, man. Too much Marvel for like that one show. It's gonna be a long show, but it'll be fun.
Gonna be a long show,
Yeah.
but it will be fun because we're wrapping up Moon Knight. And we didn't forget about Moon Knight, but as of right now, Moon Knight is not gonna tie as much into Doctor Strange.
Can I say one quick thing about Moon Knight? Just real quick.
Absolutely.
Don't you think it's funny how basically he's a variant of himself, just with the multiple personalities, just like playing more
Yes.
into just
By
like
himself. He's a
yeah.
variant by himself.
yeah,
You know
he's
what
just
I'm saying?
like it's like Stephen Grant, and then it's like Mark Spector and Jake, and it's just like they just done such a good job with that stuff, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Kevin Feige,
Really good
go.
job. Really good job.
Moon Knight A+.
So-
A+ Moon Knight for sure.
The worst job they've ever done with Brie Larson, but we won't talk about that. So moving
Ah,
all roads
All
My
roads lead to
God.
Brie Larson. All roads lead
Yeah,
to Brie
she is the chosen one.
Larson.
So you guys, they've got their tickets. They're ready to go. One thing I will tell and I'll advise everybody: stay off. It's only gonna get worse when we get to Monday, because guess what's lifted on Monday? The press, the social media embargo. They can talk about it, right? And
Yeah.
some people are not gonna keep it spoiler free,
Yeah.
So I'm telling everybody, this is my parting shot, because I'm gonna give it to Max and let him give his parting shot. My parting shot: stay off the internet. Find something to watch. Go Netflix. Ozark just came out. Last episodes of Ozark. Watch that. Get off the internet. Make sure you stay away if you don't want to see any spoilers. That's my advice. You got your tickets in hand. We have just set you up to know what's going on, and it will be action packed. The people who've seen the pre-screeners, everything they're saying is they left wanting more because it was like that fast. You got 30 minutes of the movie that was going that fast, and they were like, if I had seen any more, I want to see the whole thing. You know. And so when you say that kind of thing, and it never, from the time you hit your seat to the time it was over, you know that this movie's gonna move fast, and the pace of it's gonna move fast. So stay off the internet. That's my parting shot. Go ahead, Max.
My parting shot is stay off the internet too, but come to Marvelous Talk. He said go to Netflix, just come to YouTube, check out Marvelous Talk. Get ready to watch the movie. I'm excited for it. I'm seeing it Friday. I didn't get Thursday tickets. I don't want to say what I'm going to say about that movie theater because I'm going to curse. So I'll give it to Big G.
I'll give y'all the G-rated version of what Max wants to say. The movie theater is trash.
Yeah.
But however, I really am just beyond excited because I know how stuff's going to get fast forwarded. You know, we're in Moon Knight, Doctor Strange, and in a couple of weeks, Miss Marvel. And in a couple of weeks, it's going to go by, and Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be here. And then they're going to drop She-Hulk, and then here comes Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. So it's like, if you're a Marvel fan and you're like us and you love the movies and all whatever else, you need to take, and one way you can do is from staying off the internet is go back and start watching and invest in the properties that's already dropped so you can understand what's going forward. Because the way how fast this sequence is going to go for stuff, this is your time to catch up. Because if you don't catch up now, you're going to be lost. You know, which is good for us because now people go come to us and be like, man, what's the answers? You know, but I'm saying if you really want to know what's going on, take these next few days, take Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all the way to Thursday night. Go back and look at WandaVision. Go back and look at Spider-Man No Way Home. Go back and look at Loki. Even if you don't like cartoons, check out What If, because it'll catch you up to where you have a good idea and then make your experience with Doctor Strange even better going into the movies. You know,
I was a naysayer on What If. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I was peer pressure to watching it, but it was worth every second.
Yeah. I was part of that. I was part of that pressure.
I was part of it too.
Whatever. I'm done. Leave me alone.
Listen, man. So we thank you guys for watching. Make sure, this is something that I've been telling you guys. Teddy's taking advantage of it. Other people have Xavier's taking advantage of it. Make sure you not just like and subscribe, but comment. If you have a comment or question, these guys right here can help you. They're more. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. These guys will give you the more in-depth version. Max and Big G will. Make sure when you ask your questions, direct it, and we will answer them. We'll definitely answer them. And y'all are gonna have a lot of questions because I don't think there's some characters that are being introduced in Doctor Strange that y'all don't even know who they are. Like y'all, you know what I mean? Y'all are like, who is that? Wait a minute. Who is that? Who's the dude with the horns? Why are we seeing him? And what does he do? Why is his powers? You know, and so you're gonna see a lot of this, right? And I'm just saying, ask questions. We will answer your questions. That's what we're here for. We're definitely doing this for you guys, and we appreciate you rocking with us. Now, look, if you do rock with us, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you share. Do one more thing. Share with your people, share with your folks, share with your mom and them. Let them know that Marvelous Talk is here for you and yours. And for the team, we out of here. We will catch y'all on Wednesday. Peace.